So in the Twitter art space, we have a Genshin art piece that has some copying drama. So here we have Twitter user Mio V Arts writing, "Would anyone like to order? I am short on money." And it is a photo that says, "Commission me please, $2 for a bust up, $5 for a waist up," with artwork, and the art is really pretty. And now we have another Twitter user, and later this user will be censored by Mio, so I'll keep this user censored. "Please be careful when commissioning this person. They traced the Ganyu artwork from another artist few days after it posted." So here we have a photo of Mio's art piece, and it is Ganyu holding their chest. I will probably have to censor that. Writing, "Cooking, hashtag Genshin Impact, hashtag Ganyu." And the post made by the original artist, who goes by the Twitter handle __ Otintin in all caps, posted on November 3rd with a caption, "Goat and a heart." So this was Mio's original post, and it was made November 5th at 9 p.m. PST. If you look at the two pieces side by side, the poses are quite similar, but it's not traced. It's not like they overlap one-to-one or anything, but they are very similar, even down to the hair strands that kind of stick out and the positions of where the hair strands are. I think one thing that's very interesting to me though is the colors that are used is extremely similar. So if you're not an artist, if you look up here, this is the color wheel. So if I select colors, it will jump, right? The circle will jump. The more different the colors are, you can see the bigger the jump that's happening. But if I select the colors between these two pieces, right? I'm trying to select not the highlights or the shadows, but like someplace that could be very similar. Just look at how much it's moving. It's like barely moving in terms of the colors. Right, so again, here, the bell. So I just think it's really interesting. It looks like, honestly, that Mio could have put an overlay over this, like a pink overlay to brighten the colors a little bit. But the colors selected are very similar. So I would not call this traced, but I would consider this extremely, extremely heavily referencing. So Mio then tweeted, "Oh, so now using other art as reference is stealing? God forbid an artist not creative enough and use a reference." So here, as we can see, the user is censored where they're calling Mio out. And Mio says, "This isn't trace, sweetheart. I referenced the artwork. I can show you the time lapse if you want." And then here we have the time lapse. And again, I think for me, at least personally, the issue is not, it's not traced. It's just, this is really referencing somebody. And Mio says, "Also for context, I credited the artist." And if you go on Mio's post, "Cooking," this is on November 5th, Mio did reference the artist, reference at Otintin. But yeah, as you can see, Mio said in reply to that post, "It isn't trace, sweetheart. I referenced the artwork. I can show you the time lapse if you want." This is on 9:18 p.m. on November 7th. And then at 9:23 p.m. November 7th, Mio commented the art tag. Look, in my personal opinion, I think it depends on how you do it. I don't think it's inherently wrong to reference only one artwork and then redraw it yourself, you know? It's a kind of like an art redraw. You did it in your own style. As long as the artist is okay with people kind of like interpreting their art in your style and you give proper credits and tags, I think that's fair. I do think it's a little bit disingenuous for Mio's case because they did the redraw and did not tag the artist until they got called out for it, which maybe they didn't know that this was not great to do. Maybe they're a young artist, right? I don't know. But there's just that, you know, their tag did come after they got called out. That happens many times in the art world where you see somebody's art, you like it, you want to draw it in your own style. You need to give credit where credit is due. The pose, the coloring, etc. was referenced from Otin, so the credit should have been given from the get-go. Again, maybe they didn't know, and people also make mistakes too, right? This is a small thing. So some commenters had their own opinions. Lucky Yuki writes, "As a friendly advice, it's better getting called copying than referencing / getting inspired by, which is totally fine to do if you mention it is a copy of another drawing. Referencing is taking part of one illustration / picture, a pose, lighting, composition, color palette, etc., not the whole piece." And Mio says, "Oh, I see, I'm sorry. I really didn't know that because I saw many other artists do this and I thought it was not a big deal. Since you are the one who draw the piece, I am again sorry." And Lucky adds, "I understand. The fact you mentioned your source of inspiration tells me you didn't do it with bad intentions. It just can be misleading. If you don't clarify, you are just copying somebody else's art. Also forgot to mention, you can call it reference if you also mention you are doing a master study, where you are repeating copying somebody else's art to learn from them." Okami says, "Referencing only one piece can get you in trouble since if it's too close, you will get accused of tracing. The best thing to do is reference multiple pieces to avoid that. Also, if you do that, credit the artist and maybe call it a redraw since you drew the exact same piece." And Mio says, "Thank you so much for the advice. I will definitely do that instead from now on." And I feel like I've said this so many times in my YouTube videos. Obviously, I don't expect people to be watching my videos, right? Guys, if you guys are artists, if you guys want to reference actual artist artwork, that's fine. Just use more than one. Because again, you will copy their artwork, whether you intend to or not. If you only reference one artist, you will end up copying it. You may not intend to do that. It's gonna look like that. So White Wolf writes, I mean, if the original creator doesn't have a problem, nor has he made any kind of fuss about your drawing, then I don't see any problems. Okay, both drawings look similar, especially the pose, which looks very similar. However, there are things that makes both drawings different. And Mio says, yup, this is not a commissioned piece, it's just an art study, and I referenced this art piece and credited the artist. Bring the Rain writes, copying is when you are showing almost a duplicate of an original source. Referencing is when you take inspiration from multiple sources. So it's much harder to trace from where originally your character or background came from. TLDR, yes, you copied and credited too late. A lot of people are showing side by sides of their artwork compared to other artwork and being like me when I'm an art thief. I have to say this too, right? Like there is a thing about art studies where you do a master study and you copy an artist's artwork. This is done actually in the art space. It's done to learn how to draw because better artists than you will have techniques that they use and you will only learn that technique by replicating their work. That is fine. Just don't claim it's yours. And if you don't give any credit to the artwork, it will look like it's yours, right? People will assume that you made it originally from your own brain, everything up here, unless you gave credit. So master studying, whatever, is completely fine. Just give credit. And I would just say again, when it comes to doing master studies, especially if you're tracing while doing your study, if you want to err on the safe side, don't post it, man. If you do want to post it, give credit where credit is due. Do not claim the artwork as yours. And we can move on. And finally, if there is a case where you're looking at other people's art as references to make your artwork, just use more than one. Just find 3 and put the 3 together. And then it will be a piece that's uniquely yours. So anyways, at the end of the day, I don't think this is a really, really big deal. To be honest, a lot of artists do this. A lot of artists reference other pieces, and this is a scenario where an artist maybe innocently did not know that they should be crediting the original artist that they referenced from, so other people understand that it was referenced, and then this would all be avoided. They did credit, but they did credit 2 days later after they got called out. In the future, it sounds like they've learned their lesson. They're not going to do this again, so hopefully that is the case, right? And the original artist doesn't seem to be upset or anything about it. So anyways, again, I really want to emphasize, please don't send hate to this artist involved or anybody. I feel like this is a really small thing that a lot of artists have gone through. And unless they continue this behavior, then that's a different thing. But they seem to have learned their lesson, I hope. So anyways, if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you like to subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch. I do stream there 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. And as of filming, we're at 99,300 subscribers. We're almost at 100K. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. All right. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.